Once upon a time, in a remote village in Kenya lived the Mwangi family, consisting of Amani, a hard-working widow, and her three children, 14-year-old Kito, 10-year-old Nyambura, and the youngest, 5-year-old Mosi. Life had been incredibly tough for the Mwangis since the passing of Amani's husband. They barely made enough to eat one meal a day, and it was often Amani who chose to go hungry so her children could eat. Amani worked as a farm laborer for their wealthier neighbor, Mr. Kamau, who paid her only a few shillings a day, just enough to buy basic ingredients like flour and beans. Amani would come home, exhausted, but always with a gentle smile for her children, and begin cooking the little food she had managed to secure. Every meal, no matter how small, was shared with love. But as months passed, the village faced a drought. The fields turned brown, and the rivers dried up. Without rain, there was no work on Mr. Kamau's farm, and without work, there was no food. Amani's health began to deteriorate as she ate less and worked harder, determined not to let her children starve. She made trips to nearby villages, hoping for a day's work, but there was none. One day, as her strength faltered, she fell ill. Feverish and weak, Amani was unable to go anywhere, and soon enough, they had nothing left to eat. Her children, especially Kito, looked at her with worry and fear, realizing for the first time how fragile their situation was. Kito, who had always admired his mother's strength, decided he needed to help. The next morning, Kito walked to the village square, hoping to find someone who could lend them food. After hours of pleading, a villager gave him a small bag of flour, just enough to make a meal for a day. Kito returned home triumphant, his mother's smile showing pride and gratitude despite her weakened state. But Amani's illness worsened. With no money for medicine, Kito and Nyambura watched helplessly as their mother grew frailer each day. They continued to scavenge for food and do small tasks around the village to earn anything they could, but it was barely enough. One evening, while Amani lay in bed, she called her children to her side. With tears in her eyes, she explained that she might not be with them much longer. She told them to be brave, to always look out for one another, and to remember that family is the most precious thing in the world. Determined to help, Kito made a decision that would change their lives. He decided to go to Mr. Kamau, the wealthiest man in the village, and ask for a loan. It was a risky move. Mr. Kamau was known for his strict ways and rarely showed mercy, but Kito's heart was set. He would do anything to save his mother. Walking miles in the scorching sun, Kito reached Mr. Kamau's large estate and knocked on the door. When Mr. Kamau opened it, he looked down at the boy, surprised and somewhat annoyed. Kito pleaded with him for help, explaining his mother's condition and their dire situation. Mr. Kamau listened, his face expressionless, then finally said he would consider lending them food, but only if Kito promised to work on his farm for 3 years without pay. Kito agreed, despite the sacrifice, knowing he could not bear the thought of losing his mother. Mr. Kamau handed him a small sack of food, enough to last the family for a few weeks, and reminded him of their agreement. Kito returned home, his heart heavy but filled with hope that his sacrifice would be worth it. With the food, Amani slowly regained her strength, unaware of Kito's promise to Mr. Kamau. She assumed it was a gift from a kind villager. Over the weeks, Amani improved, but one day, as she noticed Kito leaving early and coming back late, her curiosity grew. When she confronted him, Kito hesitated, then told her everything. Amani's heart broke, but she knew she couldn't undo his decision. She thanked him, promising she'd find a way to free him from the promise one day. For 3 long years, Kito worked for Mr. Kamau, laboring under the scorching sun, missing school, and enduring Mr. Kamau's harsh words. But he never complained. He missed his mother and siblings dearly, yet he believed his sacrifice had saved them. Meanwhile, Amani continued to work tirelessly, saving every penny to repay Mr. Kamau and free her son. One day, a group of missionaries visited the village. Hearing Amani's story of resilience and Kito's sacrifice, they were moved by the family's determination and strength. They arranged for a donation to repay Mr. Kamau and offered Kito an opportunity to attend school in the city, along with his siblings. When Kito returned home, he was overjoyed to see his family, and Amani proudly shared the news of the donation. She had saved just enough to pay Mr. Kamau and reclaim her son. For the first time, the family felt a glimmer of hope for a better future. Kito, Nyambura, and Mosi all went to school, and with the support of the missionaries, Amani found a stable job. She was proud of her children and grateful to have her family together once more. Though the road had been long and painful, the Mwangi family had found strength in their love and resilience. And so, despite all the hardship, the Mwangis rose above it all, united and hopeful for the brighter days that lay ahead. Their story became a testament to the power of family, sacrifice, and hope in the face of adversity. If you found the story interesting, kindly like and subscribe to my channel for more stories like this and more. Thanks for watching.